Hello, hello, hello. All right, I'm hoping everyone can hear me. I'm turning the volume up, turning the other stuff down. Welcome to February 2019 Book Club. So I'm going to wait for a couple people to jump on and let me know if the volume is good. I have the big mic set up in front of me, so I'm going to just check and see how the volume is. Although I could turn on my iPad and do it. But I don't wanna do that. Hello, as one person jumped on to say hi. Hello, Marvel. I hope everyone who is jumping on this live listened to the story. There's actually a link for this story to have it in a PDF. I never found a PDF for any of the books before, but I stumbled upon the PDF for this book that we're doing today. So I was able to go on my iPad and do some highlighting, which I thought was really cool as I listened. Just things that I want to make sure I mention, I guess. So no one is saying that the sound is not good, so I'm assuming the sound is okay. So we're gonna assume the sound is fine. What else was I going to say? Did not listen, have been offline. Oh, I'm sorry that you didn't listen. It's a really good book. It's a kind of a funny book. So it's a very light-hearted kind of a funny book, in my opinion. So always feel free to go back and look at the, listen to the books. They're all free. They're on LeVar Burton podcast for free to listen to, all of them. And I really think you should go back and listen to them. If you stumble upon this live and you're like, oh, what are they talking about? I feel like you should always go back and listen to the books, because they're really good books, for one. And for two, that it's just fun. It really is fun listening to LeVar Burton read a book to you. I feel like a kid again listening to Reading Rainbow, without, the visuals, but I really enjoy him reading books. So the name of this book that we listened to online is book number 7, or podcast number 7, and it's Chivalry by Neil Gaiman. That is today's book that we're going to be talking about. The total podcast time was 36 minutes and some change. So if you don't have 36 minutes to listen to somebody else read you a book, you drive most places, going to take you 36 minutes. So definitely make sure you are doing that. Hey, Patrick. How are you? So, oh, Alice Green is using her daughter's phone. Well, hello, Alice Green. Anyway, I'm going to give people a few more minutes to get on, because I am 5 minutes early. So I'm going to just kind of chit chat a little bit for 5 minutes, just so people can jump on the live that are who actually listened to the book. And it's fine if you didn't listen to the book. Just know that I'm probably not going to answer random questions while we're doing the live for the book club. So just don't put them up there, because I'm not going to answer them. So you can definitely listen to the book later, and then come back and watch the replay of this. I'm probably going to be on here for like 20-30 minutes, and then I'm going to close this live down like I've been doing and open another live. If you go and look on my channel, you'll see I have another live starting at 8:30, which is let's see, we're 2 hours, so 6:30 my time, right? Yeah. So Arizona time is 6:30. So 30 minutes for the book club, then I will close this live down, let it process, and then I open up another live where we will have just a random chat. So if you want to jump off this one, if you want to just listen to this one and then jump on the other one, however you want to do it is fine with me. I just ask, if you're going to leave, don't forget to do a thumbs up for me. It helps me. It's just a little thing you can do for me if you're going to jump off. So it's all good. So again, just waiting for a few people to jump on. Hello, Miss Harris. Thank you for jumping on as a moderator. Appreciate it. Thank you. Waiting for a few other people to jump on. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up, guys, before you even come on. I appreciate that. so very much. I didn't think I needed a light on because it is quite light outside. Yeah, I don't think I need the light on because it's still daylight outside. It's only 6 o'clock here, so, and it's very sunny today, so I think I'm going to be okay until the sun starts going down. Maybe during the chat in 30 minutes, we'll probably have to have lights on. So again, the book that we're going to be talking about that we listened to for this month is called Chivalry, and it's by Neil Gaiman. It is podcast number 7 in the LeVar Burton Reads podcast, or LeVarBurtonPodcast.com. And I'm going to see if I can get in touch with someone in his camp to see about listening to his podcasts live on the live. Like, it would be nice to listen to the podcasts together, and then we can talk about it after we all hear it. I'm going to email or find an email to reach out to them and see if that's even possible to do, because I could like play it on another device and we can all sit here for 30 minutes or whatever and listen to it and then talk about it after. So we'll see. That's not something I plan on doing anytime soon. That's going to take time to get back and forth with people. Anyway, this particular podcast, or this particular book rather, Chivalry by Neil Gaiman, I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very lighthearted. It's not, you didn't have to think about it too much. Again, it was a 36-minute podcast, so it was really easy to listen to. I listened to it twice already. Last year I listened to it. I pretty much have listened to all his podcasts, but most of those I listened to last year and earlier. Late last year. I started his podcasts in the middle of last year and then pretty much finished up. So I'm playing catch up with the newer ones now. But so I'm going back and we're listening to these as a group, as a family, as a community. So again, Chivalry by Neil Gaiman. And the main character is Mrs. Whitaker. She is a widow, no children, and she goes every week into town, I guess, to the post office. She has a little routine. She's an older woman. She gets her pension check every Thursday, and usually she goes by this little thrift shop. So one day that she was in this thrift shop, she was just looking through all the little knickknacks and what's, here and there little things. And she ended up finding a ornate silver cup, or maybe a little goblet. It doesn't quite say exactly what it looks like. It just says that it was on its side, and she said it was the Holy Grail. So in her mind, she's calling it the Holy Grail. So she found this silver cup at the thrift shop that she normally goes to weekly, and she bought it. It was only 30 pence. So she bought the Holy Grail at the thrift shop, and the girl who's normally at the cash register, young girl named Marie, thought, said it looks, that it came in, I guess, no, it didn't come in that day. She found it under a fur coat, and the girl just kind of shrugged her, heads about it when she said it would look nice on the mantelpiece. Anyway, that was Thursday. She does that every Thursday. So she goes into town, she gets her pension check, and she goes to the thrift shop. So this is Mrs. Whitaker. So the next day on Friday, she had her friend come over. Mrs. Greenberg came over. They visit every other Friday. So, they visit every Friday, but they alternate whose house they meet at. So Mrs. Greenberg came over to Mrs. Whitaker's house, and they had their usual tea and talk and the visit. And Mrs. Greenberg noticed because she had cleaned up the silver goblet, and she noticed it, and she told her, yeah, it's the Holy Grail. It's the one that Jesus drank out of at the Last Supper. And during the crucifixion, it also caught his blood when the centurion pierced his side. And so Mrs. Greenberg was just kind of like, okay, whatever, She said it's really nice. And then she mentioned about her son getting something similar to that, basically a trophy with his name on it. And so after Mrs. Greenberg left, the doorbell rang later on in the day. And when she opened the door, there was this knight in full silver armor, and he had a white surcoat. I don't know what a surcoat is. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means something over top. I think what it is, It almost looks like an apron, I think, from what movies I remember seeing of that time frame, like King Arthur type movies. They sometimes they have on their silver armor, and then they have like a white cloth on the front and the back. It just covers the front and the back, and it like ties on the side. So I'm assuming that's what it was, maybe. So anyway, how do you expect to see a knight at your door like in this day and age? Like that doesn't even make sense. But anyway, they exchanged pleasantries, and he told her he was on a quest for the Holy Grail, and asked her, "Is it here?" And she, of course, was like, "Well, who are you? I need ID," because he wanted to come into her house. So he went down her driveway area, and her horse. He had a horse there, a big, huge horse, like a Shire horse, a huge horse. And he went into the saddlebag and came back with a scroll. And on the scroll, it said it was signed by King Arthur, and it said that his name was Galahad, and he's a knight of the Round Table, and he was on a right hand noble quest, and there was a drawing of him. I guess that's his ID. So yeah, totally funny, but a good book. So she accepted that as his identification. He got down on one knee after seeing the Holy Grail, and he basically said his quest was over, and he's found the Holy Grail, and can he have it, basically. He basically said, "Gracious Lady, Keeper of the Holy of Holies, let me depart this place with the blessed chalice, that my journeyings may be ended and that my gaius fulfilled." She basically told him no, that he could not have the Holy Grail, that she liked it on her mantle next to the little ceramic dog and next to the picture of her husband. And so he asked, do you want gold? I'll buy it from you, basically. Can I bring you anything? And she's like, "No, I don't want anything. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested." So that was on a Friday. So Sunday after church, she got home and he was there as well. She thought about after church, she thought about telling her vicar that she had the Holy Grail, but she didn't. So when she got home, Monday he came back. So Monday Galahad came back, and when he came back, she said, "I guess you came back to get the Holy Grail," and is like, "I don't know, like, I don't want to give it up," basically. And so he pulled out this leather package, and it was a long leather package. He put it up on the table and unwrapped it, and basically it was this beautiful sword. It was 4 feet long. It had words on it and symbols on it, and the hilt part, the handle part, had silver and gold and a large jewel on it. So basically he was offering her this sword in exchange for the Holy Grail. And she told him basically to put it away. He said, "You don't want it?" She was like, "No, I don't want it." So she still did not want to exchange anything. So she didn't want that sword. So that was Monday. So he wrapped it up, and he basically, after she gave him a to-go bag of some food, some sandwiches and stuff, so he basically went on his way. So Tuesday came, and I'm kind of looking at my notes here. Tuesday came, and where am I? Oh, so Tuesday came, she had to go to the post office to pick up a package. So when she picked up the package, she decided to go by the thrift shop again. Normally that's her Thursday thing, but since she was already down there, she decided to go to the thrift shop again. And the young lady who was at the thrift shop, who's at the register every time she goes, she noticed that she looked different, that she had a little bit of lipstick on, and that she looked like she was, looked a little nicer than her norm. And so she told her, she said, "When you were here last week, there was a young man asking about the little metal cup thing that you bought. And so I told him where to find you, and I hope that that's okay. You don't mind, do you?" And she said no, that he found her. And she says, the young girl says, "Oh, he was so dreamy. He was really, really dreamy, and I could have gone for him." And she said he had a big white horse and everything. And so Mrs. Whitaker noticed that the young girl was standing taller and straighter, and like she had a little bit of a glow to her. And so she thought that was cute. That was funny. So, let's see, what day are we on now? So I don't know, a day or two later, she got a knock at the door. She opened the door, and Galahad was back. So Galahad came back. She had him doing some stuff around the house for her, and later in the day, he finally opened up a leather purse that he had bought with him, and he gave her this white stone that looked about the size of like a cricket ball. And he said, "This is for you if you give me the San Grail," which is what the Holy Grail is called as well. So she picked up the stone, and it was kind of heavy, and she held it up to the light to look at it, and it was like translucent, and she could see flecks of silver inside of it. And then she said in the book, it says a strange feeling crept over her, and deep inside of her, she felt a stillness and sort of a peace and a serenity. So she called it, she felt serene. He told her that it was a philosopher's stone, and I'm going to just read this part. It says, "That is the philosopher's stone, which our forefather Noah hung in the ark to give light when there was no light. It can transform base metals into gold. It has certain other properties," Galahad told her proudly. "And that isn't all. There's more. Here." From the leather bag, he took the egg and handed it to her. It was the size of a goose egg, and it was shiny black color, molted with scarlet and white. When Mrs. Whitaker touched it, the hairs on the back of her neck prickled. Her immediate impression was one of incredible heat and freedom. She heard the crackling of distant fires, and for a fraction of a second, she seemed to feel herself above the world, swooping and diving on wings of flames. So he told her, "That is the egg of a phoenix," said Galahad. Far from Araby it comes. One day it will hatch into the phoenix bird itself, and when the time comes, the bird will build a nest of flame, lay an egg, and die, for it to be reborn in flame at a later age in the world. And so, and at last, he brought her something else. He gave her this apple, and she picked it up, and it looked like it was carved from a ruby, and it had an amber stem. But when she picked it up, it was really soft to this touch, so soft that she kind of bruised it, and some of the juices came out of the apple. And she felt different when the juices touched her, and the whole kitchen smelled like summer and raspberry and peaches and strawberries and red currants. She could hear distant voices in song. And he told her that the apple is one of the apples of Hesperides, Galahad said quietly. "One bite from it will heal any wound or illness, and no matter how deep. And a second bite will restore youth and beauty. And a third bite is said to grant eternal life." Mrs. Whitaker licked the sticky juice from her hand, and it tasted like fine wine. And at some point during her tasting that, she started to remember her youth and remember what her body felt like, and even had a kind of flirted with Galahad. He said, "That's all the things that I bought for you." So he bought her three things kind of from mythology, I guess you could say, in exchange for the Holy Grail. He really wants this Holy Grail. So she looked at the Philosopher's Stone, she looked at the egg, she looked at the egg of the phoenix, and she looked at the apple of life. And then she walked into her parlor in the living room and looked at her mantelpiece where the Holy Grail was sitting. And she looked at the little dog, the little China dog, and then she looked at the Holy Grail, and she looked at the picture of her husband Henry. And she went back into the kitchen, and she made some tea, and she told him to put the apple away, and you shouldn't offer things like that to an old woman. It's not proper. Then she told him, "But I will take the other two." And she said, they'll look nice on the mantle. "And 2 for 1 is fair, or I don't know what is." Galahad beamed. He put the ruby apple into his leather pouch, and he went down on one knee and kissed her on her hand, and she told him not to do that. So she gave him the Holy Grail, and she got the Philosopher's Stone and the egg of the phoenix. So Thursday came again, her normal routine. She went down to the post office, and she goes to get her pension check, and she stopped by the thrift shop again, and there was a different woman at the register, an older woman, and she says, "Where's Marie?" And she says she ran off with some young man on a horse. And she said, "Well, that's nice that she found herself a young man. That's nice." So she went about looking through the shop for, looking for different things. She mostly likes paperback books. But on a shelf, while looking for books, she found a tarnished silver container, and I'm going to just read it. On a shelf near the back of the shop, Mrs. Whitaker found a tarnished old silver container with a long spout. It had been priced at 60 pence, according to the little paper label stuck on the side. It looked a little flattened. It looks like a little flattened, elongated teapot. She took it to the register. The woman picked up the silver object, staring at it, saying, "Funny thing, isn't it? It came in this morning." It had writing carved along one side in blocky old Chinese characters and an elegant arching handle. Some kind of an oil can, I suppose. "No," said Mrs. Whitaker, "it's not an oil can," who knew exactly what it was. "It's a lamp." There was a small metal finger ring, unornamented, tied to the handle of the lamp with brown twine. "Actually," said Mrs. Whitaker, "on second thoughts, I think I'll just have the book." She paid her 5 pence for the novel and put the lamp back where she found it, in the back of the shop. After all, Mrs. Whitaker reflected as she walked home, it wasn't as if she had anywhere to put it. So that was the end of the book. That's the exact last line of the book. And my thing I said was, I think that the lamp was probably a genie lamp, like a genie in a lamp. So don't know. There's 44 of you guys on it. Has any of the 44 people on this live listened to the story? And if you did, tell me what you thought. And if not, then I'm going to take this 21 minute and whatever second video and close it down and go to the live chat on for the next live. Oh, it looks like the sun shifted. I'm losing my light, so I'll turn the light on now. So I'm waiting for those to say, yes, I listened, or no, I didn't. And then we will go from there. I got to figure out where I can put my light. I'm in a little bit of a different spot today, so my light is not directly in front of me. These books are so easy, guys, that, literally they're all less than an hour long. So I just saw someone's comment that they're reading a book with another book club. You don't have to read this. Just listen to it as you drive the car on your normal errand running or to work. You could probably listen to one podcast, these books, half of it in the morning to your commute and half of it on your commute back home and be done. Some people probably can listen on one way, because I know a lot of people have an hour-long commute to work. So easy to listen to these podcasts. So easy. I don't think we've had one yet that was more than like an hour and 5 minutes or something like that. So easy. So easy to listen to. All right, 41 people. Nobody listened to it? Wow. It makes me wonder if we should even do book club anymore. I be trying, y'all. I be trying. It's like book club and podcast. Y'all just don't want to do it. You just don't want to do it. I'm trying to do something different here. All right, so nobody listened to the book? Clarity did. Hey, Clarity in the wind. That's one person. All right, what'd you think of the book, Clarity? Me and you just gonna talk then for just like 2 minutes. What did you think of the book? If you listened to it, and if you're somebody else who listened to it and you normally don't speak up, speak up. Tell me what you thought of the book. Waiting for Clarity to type something. And if you're watching this on the replay, please comment about the book below, and I will come in the comments and answer and talk with you about the book. Clarity says, it threw me for a minute because I was going back and forth with the time frame. So what do you mean the time frame? Because it had Sir Galahad, A Knight from the Round Table in our time frame? Yes, that was at first was weird when you first listen to it. You're like, wait, there's a knight? But this book doesn't, but the actual time frame of the book is like modern time. So yeah, I guess, yeah. Someone wants to know where to find the book. So the book is online. It's a podcast as well. It's in the description box of this video and all the other book club videos. It's on my channel, crystalvanner.com, go to book club tab and everything is there. You'll know what we're reading. I've got the next 2 months books up there, so you know what we're reading. And it's not even a book, it's a podcast, so you're just listening to it. Thank you, Kim. I don't know what next month's title is. Number 8. We're doing it in numerical order, so it's number 8, but I don't know what the title is. Somebody said there's no sound. That must be you. Turn your volume up because I haven't had anybody tell me there was no sound yet. That might be on your end. So Clarity, you're saying that there was a night with a horse and then she was on a bus and had gotten some pictures in the mail. Were you doing something else while listening? The time periods didn't change. No, the time period didn't change. The book takes place in modern times. A knight came to modern times, and it tells you about what she's doing each day of the week over the course of 1 week, from basically one Thursday to the next Thursday. But it was good. I didn't feel like it was time jumping. There was no time jumping, and I listened to it twice, so there was no time jumping. It let you know what was going on. It said on Monday and on Sunday, and each day it told you what day it was. Maybe you were doing two different things. Maybe you were doing something while listening to this and you didn't hear the transitions of the day of the week changed, and she was doing her different routine. It was basically showing you her routine each day. Working in the garden, cleaning up one of the storage room that she had stored stuff in her house. It definitely walked you through her routine. So I didn't feel like it was time jumping at all. So maybe you just got a little confused when listening. I don't know. All right. Anybody else have anything to say this last couple of minutes before I go and close this live down and jump on the random chat live? Oh, right. I got your Clarity. So yeah, there was no, but you said she got some pictures in the mail, and then you said she was on the bus. So there was no time jumping. It's all takes place in modern times. The only thing out of time is the night, but he's here in modern times. So I see what you're saying. Maybe it was just a little confusion there. Alrighty. I think that is all we're going to do for this book. Doesn't seem like much else to talk about. So give me a couple of seconds to jump out of this chat, this live stream, and I'm going to open up the other live stream. It's already set up, so all I have to do is click out of this one and click on the other one. So go ahead and make sure you hit the thumbs up on your way out of this one. And when you go into the other live stream for our random chat, make sure you hit the thumbs up when you go into that one. So hit thumbs up exiting out of this one if you haven't already, and hit the thumbs up entering into the other one. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening to the book and commenting. If you're watching this as a replay, definitely don't be afraid to comment about the book in the comments, because I read those and I will come back and I will talk to you some more about what I thought about the book, because I like hearing what you guys think about the book. And why don't we do a quick little poll for this one? Let me know in the comments below if you want to even continue doing the book club, or maybe we want to do something else as Vanner family, because it seems like we get very low numbers for book club and podcasts. That's something we could probably change, maybe, if it works for everybody. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for watching as always.